John Kelly Thomas III, was born May 27, 1945, in a little town called Somerville, Georgia. And I moved from there, from Somerville to Santobia, Mississippi. My dad was in soil conservation. He was an agricultural engineer with soil conservation. And I went to first grade, second grade, Santobia. Then the soil conservation moved him to New Albany, and that's where I started. In fact, I started third grade in New Albany, and went from there to the seventh grade. In the seventh grade, Dr. Bostrick diagnosed me with spinal meningitis. They took me to the hospital in Memphis, Labana Hospital. I spent 3 months in Labana Hospital. I got out, I had to learn how to walk, talk, and write all over again. So I stayed home for probably another month or so, I guess, before I could go back to school. And when I did, they told me it'd just be better for me to wait and just start again the next year. So I did. When I started back, we where I really got interested in track was we had field day, and I was running in races and everything, and I did real good in all the races. And the track coach, asked me if I'd be interested in trying to do the track, and I told him yes. Now this was seventh grade. I told him yes, so I finished the year out and went on to track. Didn't go to any meets or anything, but went through head track. And then when I was in 8th grade, that's when I really started. I went to track meets and all that kind of stuff. Went to Ole Miss and learned a lot from coaches over there about how to run, how to hold your hands when you're running, how to relax your body, and how to breathe. Well, did pretty good that year. Well, the 9th grade year, I went on to run track again, and I ended up going to the state track meet in the 440-yard dash, and did real good. And I think I got second place. I won't think it's second. Out of all the people in the state that ran, and there I was a freshman. And man, I thought, well, that's going to be good. So just kept going, and then when I graduated from high school, they called me from Mississippi State and offered me a scholarship. And of course, my daddy went to Mississippi State, my uncle went to Mississippi State, and I thought, well, that's just a place to go. But so that's how everything happened, and I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. My daddy played football at Northwest Junior College before he went to state, so I guess a little of what he did rubbed off. I don't know, but it's really interesting.
Who was your coach at New Albany?
Bill Ward was coach at that time, and I had a coach, the RMI he and Bill Ward did the track and everything. So, and it was really neat. I had ran the 100 in 9.8, which was real good. I ran 220, I think it's 21.7 seconds, something like it. I think that's close to being right. Ran 440 yards dash and 48 seconds flat for that. Then went on to college, and I ran all the relays in college, the 440 relay, the 880 relay, and the mile relay. And the coach taught me into trying to run the 880, which is a half a mile. I ran it one time. I think I ran it in, I think it was 1 minute and 54 seconds. And one time was enough. I told him I just didn't want that half mile is too much. I just didn't want to try anymore. But really had an interesting career. And like I told you before, I ran track at state for 3 years. Then I joined the Navy during Vietnam. I spent 4 years in the Navy as a yeoman and a personnelman in the Navy. And when I got out of the Navy, I went back, finished up at Mississippi State. Then I worked for the State Environmental Protection Agency with my office on campus at Ole Miss after graduating from State. And real funny story, every Friday during football season, when I came out to go home, my car would be covered with red and blue crepe paper. And I tell you, it was great. It was great to do it. I really got to really open my eyes. Ole Miss is a good school. It's a good school, it really is. Graduated from high school in 1964.
Now, 64, that was the year that the football team won Little 10?
Oh, yeah.
And you were on the team?
Oh, yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, my freshman year, we won we lost the first 3 football games. And then Coach Ward had taken over at the beginning of the year. And he sat down and gave us one of those, little bad talks. And we won the rest of the games that year. Then, that was my sophomore year. Then my junior year, we won all the football games. And we won all the football games senior year. So we had some good, I don't know exactly how many we had. I'd say 6 or 7 seniors on that football team went to college on scholarships, whether football scholarships, basketball scholarships, baseball, or track. So we had some really talented guys. I was around a bunch of talented guys,
What position did you play in football?
I was the halfback. And that was good. Of course, you got popped pretty good. You got hit a lot, but that's that's part of it. When I was in 1968, after track season and everything, I found out that I was number 2 on the selective service board, draft board, to be drafted. So I joined the Navy. I I was in Long Beach, California for 2 years, and at Miramar Naval Air Station. Now, Miramar was a training facility for pilots. And of course, I was in a VF-121, which is the only land-based fighter squadron in the United States Navy. So I stayed on shore duty for my whole 4 years in the Navy. And then when I got out of the Navy, I came back, finished up at Mississippi State. And when you stay with running as long as most people do that actually go to college and run, it's something that's ingrained in you. And you don't think about it, you just do it. I mean, I never did set up a routine where I'd go out and run in the morning or run in the afternoon or stuff like that. But I played, when I got out of the Navy and got back to New Albany, I coached and played on the Shell Oil softball team, which was you keep in shape pretty well doing that. So I've just done stuff like that all my life and stayed outside. And I'm a big outside enthusiast, hunting and fishing, and I love to just get out and walk through the woods, just see, watch the birds, and it's really neat, really neat. I went to Mississippi State, and I was at State on the track team with a fellow named Don Hunt. And Don ran cross country, and he was a good runner. He ended up, after he got out, he went back to Mississippi State as the head track coach. So.
Who was your track coach at Mississippi State?
I can't remember his name. I cannot. I wish I could. I've tried ever since I've been talking to y'all, because I knew it was going to come up, but I cannot remember his name.
Were you successful at Mississippi State, or was the track team successful during your time there?
The team, the team was pretty good. Our freshman team was real good. In fact, a lot of the triangle meets, like we went to a triangle meet between Alabama and Auburn at Mississippi State. And our freshman mile relay team ran against the varsity mile relay team from Alabama and Auburn. So we're pretty good. We could hold our own pretty good with them. Pretty good.
What was your favorite event in track?
I guess relays. I would say my favorite was 440 because that's the one I won most of the time. But I really enjoy the relays because the relay is not just an individual thing. You know, you got to depend on those other three guys too, and the precision on. Most people don't think about it, but the precision on when you do a relay, you got that baton, you got to hand off, and it's an art to handing that baton off. And I mean, the guy coming in, you don't want him to have to slow down the guy, and you don't want this other guy waiting for it. So this guy's got to know when to take off to where this guy will catch him, and then just make a smooth thing and go with it. And when I got to state, we practiced that a lot. And needless to say, we had it down pretty good. The way the coach had us doing it, I don't know what this is. The guy that was taking the handoff had a mark before the thing started. He would step off the mark. He knew when this guy gets at this place, this 19 strides away, he would start and that guy would catch up. Because you don't start off full speed. By the time you got to your just about full speed, he would catch you and hand that thing off. And you've got a certain length. If you don't make that handoff within a certain length, you're disqualified. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you've got to have them down pretty good.
So you can't just run. You got to do it.
No,
you have so many. No. Is it steps or length?
It's I think it was about 20 yards from the time you started. You had 20 yard space now to get that handoff. So you had to know when to start. So you get that handoff at about 18 yards. Your breathing has a whole lot to do with it. I mean, you want to breathe through your nose as much as possible. And then your arms, as you move your arms, otherwise when your right arm goes up, your left foot goes up. When your left arm goes up, your right foot goes up. So they've got to be coordinated, you know, and that's just something that just most people already do it. You know, you used to think about it. When you walk, when you take a step with your left foot, your right arm comes up, and then you can't let your body tense up. That's the reason when you see people run, most of them have their hands open. To some run with the hands, fingers pointed straight. Some got the hands cupped. You know, just whatever makes you feel good. God. That's all I can tell you. He's done a lot for me. When I was in the hospital with meningitis, I can remember my grandmother at the foot of the bed and her prayers all down. And she told me when I got out, she said, God has got something in mind for you. I don't know what it is, but I don't think track was it. I think that was just a step to get me where he wants me. I don't know whether I'm there yet or not, but I do what I can. It's really odd because you can look and want to go right here, and you'll end up over here. It's just, it has something to do with equilibrium. You know, you can't walk straight to it, you know. It just takes you a while to do stuff.
Did you have physical therapy?
No. That wasn't around then, I don't guess.
So you just came home from the hospital, went back, just...
Doing.
How did you learn how to walk again?
Just...
Got up and did it?
Just doing it over and over and over and over. Just, you know, you get tired of doing it after a while, but you know you got to, because if you don't, you know. So it was really a big learning experience. I learned a lot. You know, there's a verse in the Bible where it says that, I don't know exactly what it is, but it says something like you got to keep your eye on the finish line when you do something. That means a lot. I know kind of what that means in life, you know. We lived over on Garfield Street, which is on the other side of town. Well, we are on the other side of town. But I lived on Garfield Street, and I would walk to school every day. Walk about a third of the way, and run about 2/3 of the way. You know, and it just you do it long enough. You know, it's just like anything you do. You know, the more you do it, the more used to it you are, and I guess that's what it is. I don't know. That and God.
Did you before you became sick? Were you a kid who liked to run and?
Oh yeah.
You were always that kid?
Mm-hmm. We used to, I went to elementary school, Mattie Thompson, across town, and we used to play with a game they call King on the Wall, and would run from the sidewalk to that, and you'd start off with one person out there, and he'd tackle somebody, and then it'd be 2 of them, and then 3 of them, 4 of them, and the goal was to be the last one standing, you might say. And it was there's a lot learned from that. We had a guy that went to University of Wyoming on football scholarship. Had a fellow that went to Ole Miss on basketball scholarship. One went to Ole Miss, I think he was baseball and one football, you know. So I was just with a bunch of talented guys, really was. And girls.
Did y'all have a girls track team?
Oh yeah, that's a girls track team. Mm-hmm. And they were pretty good. You know, my dad took us to Memphis. One time they had I don't know exactly what they called this thing, but it was track teams from all, not teams, but just it was kind of individuals from different places. And he took us up there, and he drove. I think there were about 5 of us that went. He carried us up there for that, and that was big time. I got up there, I ran the 100-yard dash up there. I got up there, and I had forgotten my track shoes, left them at home, and I ran the 100-yard dash with tennis shoes on, and won my heat, and that was neat. And I think it's Channel 5 out of Memphis filmed it, and there's a lot of people here in Yawman saw it, and they said, I saw you coming down through there, and I couldn't see anything but white shoes. The real light shoes, real light, the leather, just leather shoes, and the toes, you had about 4 or 6 spikes on the front, and they were metal spikes, about that long, and they were about third the size of your little finger. They were something else. We didn't have a track.
You didn't?
Mm-mm. We ran on the football field and up on the grass. Excuse me, on the grass outside right outside the school and everything. That's where we ran. We had the hurdle set up out there so you could, you know, for the ones that use those. But no, we didn't have a track.
So, did any other schools have tracks?
Oh yeah, most of them did.
Really?
Most of them did, yeah.
When did New Albany build a track?
I don't know. I could not tell you.
After you.
Yeah, it's.
After '64.
Oh yeah, after '64. Now when, I do not know.
Now, in '64, when y'all played football, where were you playing your games then?
We had a football field, but we played in Starkville, West Point, Aberdeen, Bruce, just, you know, it's Little 10.
Where's the field here, though?
It's
Where
well,
it is now?
there was a field over on where the middle school is, where the middle school was. You know, the old gym. There was a school down at the bottom. That we played there till, oh gosh, I can't remember, maybe my freshman year. And then we moved up. We were the first class to graduate from W.P. Daniel.
Okay.
Went all the way through W.P. Daniel, and they built a football field at W.P. Daniel, and it was real light because I know I came home from state one weekend. They had built the field but didn't have grass on it, so Poodle Kitchens donated the grass, but we had to get it up. So they got a side cutter from borrowed a side cutter from somewhere, and they cut it up, and we would put it on trucks or wagons or what, and they'd carry it up there, and there was another crew up there that would lay the sod down. We had two crews, one picking sod up, putting it on a truck, the other one taking it off the truck, putting it in the ground.
That was when you were home in the summer from the state?
Mm-hmm. One summer. It's a lot of community, people working together to get stuff done. You know, not quite as much as it is now. Well, I'd say, I don't know. There's a lot of it back then, but I don't know. But it was real neat, real neat. Most of my track mates were on tracks. You know, I ran. Let's see, we had made in Columbus, and their track was behind Lee High School in Columbus, and it was cinder. It's a cinder track, you know. And I remember running on that. I mean, you'd hit the ground and dust would fly. But then we had like the Ole Miss track Ole Miss track. I think at that time was kind of it's kind of like black asphalt, but it wasn't really asphalt. It was a softer asphalt. That's where the first real meet I ran in was over there. And like I said earlier, the coaches really helped me. They told me just go out and I ran the 440, and they told me go out and just run as hard as you can. I did, and I went around that last curve, and as track folks call it, the bear jumped on my back, and I still got second place. But man, I tell you what, I was sick. I got sick. But it was I tell you, my whole career I had a lot of fun, Yeah, I played basketball played one game. I'm short, and I ran in and jumped up and got the rebound and ran down the court and made the free throw, but I shot the wrong goal. So that was the end of my basketball career. You learn not in just track, but in all sports, I think you learn, there's a self-discipline to it you learn. And you learn a lot about life itself. But it was, like I said before, it was fun, and I learned a lot from it. I really did.